Hey everybody, welcome to episode 89 of the Metal Detecting Show podcast. My name is Kieran and I have been metal detecting now for nearly 30 years. So this week, let's talk about how to get started in metal detecting. I've seen a lot of posts online, on forums, Instagram, everywhere on how do I get started. So let's start the year with that and let's get on with the show. Hey everybody, before we start, I want to thank you for listening to the podcast and I hope you enjoyed the episode this week. If you want to support the show, there are many options available in the links in the episode notes below. And if you want to interact with me and the show, that information's in there too. But most importantly, if you like this content and would like more, please don't hesitate to tell your friends and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Hey everybody, I hope you had a great week hunting this week. I want to start this week's episode with a special thanks to everybody who has reached out to me during the last week to welcome me back after the Christmas holidays. It's always very exciting to get that feedback. It really does fuel the engines for another year of the Metal Detecting Show podcast. But I do want to do a few special thanks. I want to thank Blake, who emails me on the regular. He always cracks me up every time. But Blake really took my advice last week to heart and went out and got himself permission, which is great. I was delighted to hear that. And thanks for email, Blake. Like I said, it always cracks me up. Another person I would like to thank is Mervyn. Mervyn is our only Patreon right now and regularly buys me a coffee and always reaches out to me via social media. And I really don't do Mervyn or Mervyn's dedication to the show justice, but I really want to thank Mervyn for all his support over the last 2 years. It really does mean a lot. And this one is for you, Mervyn. I suppose every week it's for you, Mervyn, right now. So thanks a million. I also want to thank the new users of the Discord server who are really trying to get it up and running with some quality content going up there by the likes of Steppenwolf, De Bruyne, Second Dig, and PI Pirate. You know, I really don't do it justice, and those guys are really putting the effort in. So I really want to call out those guys, the early adopters of the Discord server. And really put a call out to the rest of the listeners to engage with the Discord server. It would be great to have a regular meetup on the Discord server just to shoot the shit about the hobby. So please check out the Discord server. I will start plugging it a little bit more over the coming weeks. It is set up. So get in there and post up all your finds and everything that comes with that. So on to our regular broadcast. And this week I want to talk about getting started or how to get started. I see a lot of posts online in the last couple of weeks. So it's like a new year, a new hobby type of situation. And it's like, how do I get started? Is this a good detector? Where do I hunt first? Is this worth anything? So I wanted to really sort of create some content for those people out there. You know, I have covered stuff, the basics of metal detecting in the past, but really this is for the new people who have either been gifted a metal detector or are just in that place of, right, I've got a metal detector, now what do I do? So to get started, you've got your new metal detector. I don't know where you got it from. I don't know, did you buy it yourself or did you get it as a gift? The first thing you do is you don't post up a post online saying, is this detector any good? Who gives a shit? Your detector is great. I can guarantee you will find something with the lowest level of a metal detector. You shouldn't be looking what the other guys have. You should just be looking at what you have and read the manual. Read it twice. You can always upgrade at a later date. But the goal of your first metal detector and the goal of this podcast really is to get you hooked on the hobby. So traditionally, you have your new metal detector. I don't care where you got it, but you have a new metal detector. And traditionally you go out to your back garden and you search your back garden. And you normally will find a couple of modern kinds. Sometimes that's enough to get you hooked. However, it's a start. Finding all the old modern kinds that you've dropped over the years. If you're lucky, you will find a beloved toy that you dropped as a child in your back garden if you're living in your house for that long. So first of all, the first step is take your new metal detector, read your manual, bring it out to your back garden and do a couple of practice hunts just to try and learn your metal detector. I'm not advocating for you to set up a test bed or anything like that. Just go do your first hunt in your back garden. The next step I would advise people to do is to research. Research in your locality where people congregate. You know, I'm always rabbiting on about research, and this is a total repetition. I am totally aware of that. But research where people congregate. Is there a local beach nearby? Fields, parks? Try and figure out where people have been or where large crowds of people congregate. Of course, if it's not public land, you may need to get permission, but we'll get onto that later. Before you go on your first major hunt, you need to set your expectations and probably in your head commit to 5, maybe 10 hunts before you give up. Remember, the goal of this episode of this podcast is to set your expectations. So set your expectations correctly. You are not going to find, well, okay, some people do. And if you are one of those people, I hate you. But you're not going to find gold coins on your first trip out. Set your expectation. Set a realistic goal. Go out and say, right, if I'm going to a beach, I'm going to find €5, enough for a coffee. Or if I'm going to a field, I'm going to find something that's older than me. But set your expectations correctly. In setting your expectations, you need to understand that your first hunt will be a complete disaster. You won't know how to pinpoint. Your holes will be huge. You will be digging out too much trash. You will be exhausted after digging 100 big ass holes. Set that in your mind. Your first hunt, you're going to be in trouble. And that you shouldn't expect too much. So you've set that expectation in your head. Your first hunt, it's going to be tiring. It's going to be short. You're going to dig a load of trash and you're not going to find much. You're not going to understand your metal detector and you're not going to be able to pinpoint. So you've set that expectation on your first hunt. So what do you need to do on your first hunt? It's going to be short, right? But you do need to bring some food with you. You need to make sure all your detectors are charged up. Or if you need batteries, bring batteries, spare batteries. Bring a spade, not a shovel. I don't know how many times I've seen a beginner metal detectorist going out with a shovel, trying to dig holes with a shovel, and it's almost a disaster to watch it. But bring a spade, not a shovel. If you don't know the difference, I do talk about that in a previous episode. Dress warm and put on some insect repellent. All common sense. And get yourself a good pair of gloves. I've mentioned gloves in the past. Mechanics is a great brand of gloves to use. They're very dexterous and you can actually feel what you're digging through the thin leather. I have 2 pairs of them now and I have to say I highly rate them. So you're on the way out to do your first hunt. And, you know, there is some rules about being a metal detectorist. And if you don't know them already, here they are from a very high level. I do talk about them extensively in episode 84, which is only 5 episodes previously. So go back and listen to them for a more in-depth version of the rules. But here's a very high level. The first rule is don't be a dick. If it feels wrong to do something, just don't do it. Don't trespass. Get written permission if you can. Leave no trace. Take all your trash with you and fill your holes. Know the law of the country you're in. It's a no-brainer. If you don't know where to find it, go to your National Museum webpage. I guarantee they will have a link there for the metal detecting law in your country. On rules, respect the rules of the countryside. If you don't know what they are like don't go near livestock, keep gates closed if they're closed, leave them open if they're open. Common sense stuff around working with animals. Report every find that you believe is of historic importance. Every find. Don't take a chance. If you're 50-50 on it, still report it, but report every find of historical importance. Don't go near graveyards. I mean, that's almost the legal definition of grave robbing. So just don't go near the graveyards. It's just bad juju going to a graveyard. So just stay away from them. And if you're asked to leave a site, do so straight away. But realistically, it all comes down to just don't be a dick. Be street smart. Think about how you're impacting the people around you. And just have some common sense in how you carry yourself. So you've gone out on your first hunt. You're probably exhausted. You're carrying home a load of trash. And you don't know what's good and what's bad. The first thing you should do is just take all your trash, bring it out to the picnic table out the back, or whatever area in your own garden or your own space that you could do this sort of dirty work. Lay it all out. Have a good look at everything you found. Because I guarantee you, there will be a time when you will find something that you believe is trash, only to realise that it actually isn't trash at all. I'll give you an example. My first millie ball was so impacted from its impact after being shot, I just thought it was a lump of lead. But when I looked at it, I was able to see the 3 rings and imagine what it would look like fully. So this was going into this actually was in my lead pile till I did a double check on it. So double check your trash. Make sure you don't throw out anything that you're not sure of. And don't be afraid to ask questions online. Even though the whole message with this episode is about trying to help you new guys figure out how to start in the hobby, I do see people with a less understanding of the new people who are joining the hobby. I do see a lot of trolling online around people who are, somebody might put up a big lump of rust and ask, what is this? And of course, nobody is going to know what it is, but you don't have to be rude about it to the new people. And to the new people, don't be afraid to ask a question. You know, if you're getting trolled online, it'll be very quickly shot down by people who are willing to be positive and willing to help you and willing to just tell you, listen, man, that's probably trash, but, you know, it looks like a good find. Could be a half a horseshoe, this type of thing. To be enthusiastic at the end of the day for you, the beginner, and also for us old fogies that are in the hobby. New people coming to the hobby should be seen as a blessing and will only drive the hobby forward. So we should be encouraging new people when they ask silly questions online. So that's it for this week, I suppose. I hope it wasn't too rambling or too disjointed. I'm trying to embrace this free-flowing format of the podcast. However, I do see times when it is suitable, maybe like this, just kind of a chat and like last week's one. But say if I was to talk about something more technical, I will probably drop into a more scripted description of what I'm talking about, because I feel you have to have something clear and concise when you're talking about something a little bit more technical. So that's it for this week, guys. I hope you like this episode of the Metal Detecting Show podcast. Check out our website, www.themetaldetectingshow.com, for this episode's show notes. Check out our Patreon page if you want to help the podcast stay alive or just want to buy me a coffee. Actually, if you want to buy me a coffee, you can do so on buymeacoffee.com/metal detecting. Also, don't forget you can leave me a voicemail on speakpipe.com/the Metal Detecting Show. The link is in the show notes. And if you feel like taking your appreciation to the next level, feel free to leave me a positive review on any podcast directory of your choice. And if you like this content and would like more, please don't hesitate to tell your friends, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Once again, I hope you've enjoyed this episode of the Metal Detecting Show podcast. We will chat to you all again next week. Get out there, eyes down, good luck, and happy hunting.